a stake in the chest as anyone else would be. They do, however, possess a strong vulnerability to fire damage, holy attacks, and positive energy, such as healing spells or healing potions, but may be healed by negative energy or drinking blood. You are at least 10 times as physically powerful as a normal human, possess a potent and combat-applicable regeneration factor that can be bypassed by silver, can cast mental compulsions on others with eye contact, are immune to cold damage, are immune to mental compulsions and control short of divine intervention or V effects that specifically target undead, and can spawn vampires, not true vampires, by feeding on mortals, with a specific desire to turn them into such. Vampires you create are unfailingly loyal to you but tend to be fairly weak by comparison to you, until they've aged considerably. A stake in the chest as anyone else would be. They do, however, possess a strong vulnerability to fire damage, holy attacks, and positive energy, such as healing spells or healing potions, but may be healed by negative energy or drinking blood. You are at least 10 times as physically powerful as a normal human, possess a potent and combat-applicable regeneration factor that can be bypassed by silver, can cast mental compulsions on others with eye contact, are immune to cold damage, are immune to mental compulsions and control short of divine intervention or V effects that specifically target undead, and can spawn vampires, not true vampires, by feeding on mortals, with a specific desire to turn them into such. Vampires you create are unfailingly loyal to you but tend to be fairly weak by comparison to you, until they've aged considerably. Additionally, unlike true vampires, such as yourself, they do possess a weakness to sunlight and a need to drink blood on a regular basis. True vampires, as powerful, intelligent undead, may command both unintelligent undead and intelligent undead that are weaker than themselves. They can also summon creatures such as bats, rats, wolves, and owls to act as servitors for them, though such creatures tend not to be any more powerful than they would normally be unless the vampire is exceptionally old and/or strong. You additionally possess a hideous alternate form with inhuman features, legs that bend backwards at the knees, talons on the ends of your toes and fingers, and your mouth transforms to look more like a lamprey's than that of a man. In this form you are 20 times stronger than a regular human but cannot hide your nature as a vampire, and you are prone to falling into a blood frenzy while in it. As a true vampire, you have transcended the thirst for blood that normal vampires have, though you can still partake of it in order to heal yourself, and likely will while in your alternate form. Vampires always have pale skin and red eyes, and either black or silver hair. Knowledgeable locals will be aware of this. You may freely choose what age you physically appear to be, but since you are an ageless undead, that is the age you will remain looking like forever, barring some form of shape-shifting power or magic. Origins. The origins on offer do not differ overly much from each other in terms of general strength. A warrior, for example, will be generally superior in straight combat power to a magic caster of the same level, though not nearly as versatile outside of combat. Drop-ins are the middle ground of the origins, not able to reach quite the same heights in combat as a warrior, or in magic as a magic caster, but tending to round that out with a much more impressive and broad array of general skills, knowledges, and abilities. All have their various strengths and weaknesses but tend to balance each other out in the long run. Free drop and you appear in the new world exactly as you are, with no conflicting memories, identity, or origin in the place you find yourself. Unless you chose player earlier, in which case you have memories appropriate to that. You tend to be a queen of all trades type rather than a jack, so while you aren't quite the match of an ace, you aren't that far behind them. You favor wit, agility, and versatility, able to easily fit into just about any niche, and at the high end your sheer breadth of skill will provide you with no end of options. While you won't be as focused as a warrior in combat or a magic caster in magic, you'll find that you tend to make up for that in being much stronger than them in other areas that they are generally weak in. Free warrior, you trained your whole life to master the art of war in the swing of a blade. You know how to fight in armor, from horseback, in large-scale battles and also in only-on-one duels. You have a natural affinity for physical abilities and martial arts, often called a warrior's magic, in this world, that can allow you to perform feats of supernatural skill and battle prowess. You could easily make a living as a sellsword or swear yourself into the service of a lord and expect considerable compensation and prestige. Alternatively, you could be an adventurer fighting monsters and keeping the general populace safe from wandering creatures. Free magic, caster magic, and the concept of magic has always enthralled you even from a young age. You decided immediately from the start that you would learn all that there was to know about magic and dedicated yourself to this pursuit. You are intelligent, wise, at least in magic and magic theory, and possess a considerable amount of magical skill and ability. You could easily make a living professionally with just what you start out knowing, and if you become famous enough, you may be invited to court as an advisor on magical matters, have people seeking you out to become your student, or be hailed as a luminary for discovering or creating new magical spells and processes. You start with the ability to use third-tier spells in the ranked magic system, widely considered to be the level of masters and the highest that a regular human can achieve. Spells of the third tier include such classics as Flight, Fireball, Lightning Bolt, Teleport, and Haste. Yes, Teleport is third tier in ranked magic. Perks. You have 100 CP total. Perks costing 100 CP are free to their origin, and other perks are discounted for their respective origins. General non-origin perks: free tolerance for evil. The new world can be a brutal place. Regular annual wars, demi-human hordes raping and pillaging human nations to use them as livestock, rape, torture, and slavery being common, and the frequent abuses of power by the aristocracy. There's a lot of problems in this world, and a great many of them would probably leave even the most even-tempered man red-faced in anger and outrage at the mere thought of them. Not you, though. You have gained a tolerance for such acts, and can freely consider them based on their merits, if they have any, and are perfectly capable of carrying them out yourself if needs be. This does not make you evil, and you don't actually have to tolerate evil that you see, you're just capable of doing so and can calmly and logically consider such things without undue or unnecessary bias. You'll be perfectly able to kick a few puppies or burn down a few orphanages, or worse, and have no problems or mental compunctions of going through with the act, if you feel you really need to. 50 CP players get first level free personal inventory. You have gained a personal inventory. It is nebulously large, enough to store several thousand pounds at least, and while you couldn't store a house in it or living beings, you could easily store several suits of alternate equipment, weapons, potions, piles of coins, food, and other such things. Taking things out of your inventory requires reaching into it, which will make it appear as if you are reaching your hand into a dark hole in midair. For an additional 50 CP, the inventory is especially large and can hold several tens of thousands of pounds. No matter how big it is, you'll always draw out the things you intend to, and will instinctively know what is in it. Free or 50 CP players receive the 50 CP version for free. Themed aesthetics. If you're a warrior, you appear to be physically powerful and imposing. If you're a magic caster, you appear to be a wise and erudite academic. If you're a drop-in, you appear to be a charming and affable rogue. Bottom line, whatever you might be, you tend to evoke the image of a classically good-looking version of it. For 50 CP or beyond, just being good-looking and are easily one of the most handsome or beautiful people anyone can name, as if your looks were handmade by a masterful artisan. Which, given the nature of Yggdrasil, they very well might have been. Free or 50 CP shared language. For some unknown reason, everyone in this world appears to be speaking the same language. This isn't actually the case, and people paying attention to the shapes that others make with their mouths when they talk will likely notice they're making movements that don't match up with the sounds that are being heard. There's no known explanation for this, though the Lichmo manga theorized it was probably the work of a player long in the past. As a result, no matter where you are or who you are talking to, you will always be able to understand them and they will always be able to understand you. This is commonly accepted fact in the New World and no one finds this odd. This does not translate the written word, sign language, or speech deliberately said in a coded manner, however. Everyone gets this for free for this jump automatically, and may pay 50 CP to retain it. In future worlds only you and your companions will be able to understand and be understood by everyone else. Don't expect everyone else to suddenly understand one another. 200 CEP innate talent discounted for locals, 1 free purchase for actual humans. You possess the good fortune to have an innate talent. Innate talents are abilities that people are born with, and usually only 1 in 200 people will actually have one. They can run the gamut of all sorts of things, though there is no certainty people will be born with an ability they will actually be able to make use of. For example, someone born with an innate talent for learning magic doesn't actually help them find a magic teacher, and thus some innate talents may go to waste. Thankfully for you, you can choose what innate talent you have from the following list. You possess the unheard of ability to have more than 1 innate talent, assuming you purchase more than 1. As a reminder, locals that qualify for an additional discount on a talent, thanks either to their race or origin, get that talent for free. Enhanced summoning. All summoned creatures you call forth will be 50% more powerful. Stick around for 50% longer if the summon is duration-based, and will cost 50% less magic to actually summon. Only works on creatures you summon with magic. Creatures you create with magic don't count. Discounted with summoning specialty. Omnidextrous. You possess the innate talent to use all of your limbs as if they were your primary limb, effectively allowing you to fight or operate with your limbs to whatever degree you desire, and are physically capable of performing it with no loss of control, skill, or strength. This effect additionally carries over to your mind, allowing you to effortlessly mental multitask on as many different trains of thought as you desire. This doesn't let you think faster, but you would be surprised at how useful it is to be able to focus on every individual thing going on in a battle at the same time. Discounted for rogues and automatons. Rogues that are also automatons get this for free. Golden mind. You are, simply put, superhumanly brilliant. You don't necessarily know anything with just this, and it's entirely possible to have a genius mind and yet still be ignorant, but if you actually bother to go out and learn things, or have perks, classes, or skills that provide you with knowledge, you will quickly find that you can piece together information and clues from even the tiniest shreds. Your intellect is of gargantuan size, and there is a potential drawback in such. If you are not careful to ground yourself, or to find company that can keep up with you mentally, it is entirely possible you might find yourself divorced from the human condition as you simply lose touch with the people around you that can't possibly hope to keep up with your golden brilliance. Can be mitigated with the correct perks or efforts. Players get a discount on this innate talent. Magic learning affinity. You possess the rare talent to learn all magic spells in half the time it would normally take you. For example, if a spell would normally take the person 8 years to learn, you could learn it in 4 years. Stacks with similar abilities from other jumps. Doesn't give you the ability to use magical styles you aren't actually trained in or capable of using. Enhanced healing magic. Your magical healing spells are especially potent, doubling their effectiveness and having their cost. You would be well praised and rewarded as a healer if people knew you had this ability, and, of course, if you knew any healing spells only affects magic that explicitly heals and does nothing else. Undead that purchase this may choose to gain the opposite of this to empower negative energy spells so that they can heal themselves. Angels and fallen angels receive a discount on this talent. Identify talents. You possess the talent to detect innate talents in others. Upon sight, you will instantly learn the exact nature, usage, and purpose of any innate talents a person might have. Whether or not they're skilled enough to actually use it is a different matter. In future worlds, this effect will allow you to determine the supernatural powers of others, but the information it gives is not instant and isn't as comprehensive. Drop-in origins. Get a discount on this talent. Martial arts prodigy. This probably doesn't do what you're thinking. In this world, martial arts are known as a warrior's magic, and are special skills and abilities that warriors, in general, not just people with the warrior origin, can learn in order to empower themselves and perform supernatural feats. This talent enables you to learn martial arts in half the time it would normally require, and additionally allows you to activate twice as many martial arts at a time than would otherwise be normal. A legendary warrior might normally be able to activate as many as 7 at once, for example, whereas at the same level you would be able to activate 14 at once. This also reduces the stamina cost of martial arts to half of what they would otherwise be. If people learned you had this talent, and you actually practiced to take advantage of it, you would be hailed as a mighty hero. Example: martial arts include increased magic resistance, resistance to mind-influencing spells, increased physical prowess, amplified speed, the ability to analyze and identify weaknesses in others, the ability to have perfect knowledge of everything within a 3-meter radius of yourself, the ability to completely nullify the physical force behind a single strike, the ability to hit multiple targets with a single strike, extremely short term, a few seconds at most, combat precognition, and so on. The more powerful the martial art, the longer it takes to learn and the more stamina it takes to use. Warrior origins. Get this at a discount. Physical powerhouse. You are just straight up more physically powerful than your race should be. If you're a human, you could easily lift and throw a full-grown horse a few dozen feet, run at speeds comparable to said horse, and possess endurance enough to match 3 of said horse. Unlike many innate talents, you don't actually have to do anything or learn anything in order to make use of this. Races other than humans see a similar boost to their physical abilities in line proportional to what would be normal for their race. Scales with level, and applies to other races you might have from other jumps. Demi-human races. Get this at a discount. Magical powerhouse. You are more magically powerful than others. A lot more magically powerful. You've got enough magical energy to rival any 3 other peers of your level, and additionally you recover your reserves of magical energy just as quickly. Spells that deal direct damage, and nothing else, are 20% more powerful when you personally cast them. Scales with level. This talent is utterly useless for people that don't know magic. Elves. Get this at a discount. Alchemist. You are capable of brewing potions with magical effects. You can easily create true healing potions that provide instantaneous healing rather than healing over time, and can make potions for any buffing spells you know that are in the ranked magic system, such as flight, invisibility, increased magic resistance, physical boosts, and so on. Obviously, you must actually know a spell in order to make a potion with that spell's effect. Additionally, to make use of this talent, you must actually have the means to make the potions in the first place, such as an alchemist's lab. Word for slimes. Your own body. Slimes and magic caster origins. Get a discount on this talent. Slimes with the magic caster origin. Get this for free. Detect magic power. Upon sight, you will instantly know, roughly, the overall level of magical power a person has. Additionally, if they practice a style of magic that you also practice, you will know approximately the strength of their most powerful spells. For example, if they practiced ranked magic and their strongest spells were of the 3rd tier, you would know their strongest magics were 3rd tier spells, so long as you also knew rank magic. Doesn't tell you specifically what spells they know, only the level of the strongest spell they can cast. Additionally, it doesn't tell you whether or not they're actually capable of casting it currently, if for example it has expensive components they don't have on hand. This ability can explicitly be blocked with magic, though it is exceptionally rare for people in the New World to know, or bother, with such protections. Discount with Magic Warrior Class Skill. Magic Item Creator. You're really, unnaturally, good at making magic items. If you know how to make something, then you can make it magical. Spoons, bowls, armor, books, weapons, toasters, anything. You actually have to know some magic in order to enchant items with a magical effect, and you don't gain any skills in actually making items, so if you want to make magic swords you'll have to learn some magic and then how to make regular swords first. You can copy down into scrolls any spell you know, which others can use to learn those spells, if they are capable of using that magic system and put in the time to study, or use them as one-use magic items. Additionally, any magic item you create will be marginally better than it would have otherwise been, regardless of whatever abilities you might have brought with you from other worlds. You don't have to have this talent to make magic items or spell scrolls, but someone that does have this talent will always be much better than someone that doesn't. Dwarves get this at a discount. Use any magic item, a rare and potent innate talent. You possess the power to use any magical item regardless of whether or not you actually meet the prerequisites or conditions normally required to use it. Wield a Holy Avenger as a black-hearted demon? No problem. A book of spells only powerful wizards could even open, much less learn from, when you're a fighter. You can use it. A specific magic item intended solely for its creator and that repels the touch of anyone else. As far as it's concerned, you are its creator. While this innate talent has a very narrow effect within its purview, it is virtually flawless. Bestiary knowledge. You possess the innate talent to instantly identify any natural or magical beast you come across. You will know its species name, common and proper, the general characteristics, powers, and abilities of its type, as well as its general behavioral patterns and the types of territory it can be found in. You're also more adept at taming such animals or creatures, assuming you have abilities that would allow you to do such. You will additionally know of any natural weaknesses such beings possess, and how to exploit them. Does not actually give you the capability of exploiting such weaknesses unless you're normally capable of doing such. Knowing a troll is vulnerable to fire and acid does not help you if you don't have fire or acid at hand. This knowledge is specific enough that you will never mistake a rare creature for its more common brethren. However, it won't give you any particular knowledge or insight into creatures beyond what is common for their race, so you won't know if they possess, for example, class levels. Finally, you will also possess knowledge of what the various bits and pieces of an animal or creature are useful for the purposes of alchemy or other crafting pursuits, though it does not give you the innate ability to actually make them into such items. Discounted for players and drop-ins. 100 CEP friends with the devil events will conspire in such a way that when and or if you come into contact with Nazarick at Momonga, Ainzu All Gown will treat you in a friendly manner and as a potential ally. The NPCs of Nazarick will treat you favorably too, even if you're a human, bizarrely enough. In future jumps, this will allow you to make friends with the groups that would normally be more inclined to stab you than give you the time of day. In this jump, this perk doesn't get you anything outside of friendly relations with Nazarick and, if you work hard, potentially access to some of its resources. Additionally, this goodwill is conditional. If you take actions against Nazarick, you will find your relationship with them will quickly sour. You can still have good relations with Nazarick without this perk, it's just much harder and the NPCs will probably hate you and plot to get you killed. 800 CP player only, no discount. The 42nd Supreme being, there were 41 players that came together to form the guild known as Ainzu All Gown. The name Momonga, the guild leader, eventually took as his own, and then later took over and remodeled the Great Tomb of Nazarick. Well, there were 41 of them. Now, however, there are 42. You are the final member of into all gown, and alongside Momonga you are the only one of the supreme beings that remained behind. You are considered to be a god by the NPCs of Nazarick, and they all swear their undying loyalty to you, and to Momonga. You will have full access to the resources, facilities, and services of Nazarick, and may freely command any of the NPCs within it to do basically anything you tell them to do. The only one who can challenge your authority is Momonga himself. You additionally have your own luxurious quarters on the 9th floor of Nazarick itself. Since Ainzu All Gown was originally founded upon the idea of group decisions, you will always have a say in the general direction that Nazarick takes in regards to politics and the distribution of resources. But your own vote is no greater or lesser than that of Momonga himself, so you will likely need to compromise on particularly divisive issues. Taking this option automatically overrides your location role. You automatically start in the throne room of Nazarick alongside Momonga, with events prior to your appearance having played out as they normally would have, such as Momonga editing Albedo, and taking into his possession the staff of Ainzu All Gown. Additionally, you will gain memories appropriate to being a member of Ainzu All Gown, and you will find yourself having an extremely strong attachment to the NPCs, such that you'll find yourself forgiving of just about anything they do that isn't blatantly and obviously a screw-up on their part, as well as possessing a strong desire to protect them, and Nazarick by extension, and a towering anger at anyone that would dare to lay a hand on them. Only heteromorphic races can purchase this option, as that was one of the ironclad rules of membership within the guild. However, taking this perk lets you choose any one heteromorphic race costing 300 CP or less for free. Purchasing this perk makes the Tolerance for Evil perk earlier a mandatory purchase, and you will be extremely inclined to not be bothered by the otherwise potentially evil acts of the NPCs in Nazarick. You can still be good personally, you'll just always have a blind spot when it comes to Nazarick and its inhabitants. Additionally, you get the level 100 perk found below for free. There are no Scrub DA members in Ainzu All Gown. 300 CP, free for locals. The Realm of Heroes. You have stepped into a realm that only the greatest that have ever lived can truthfully claim to be a part of. If you were a warrior, you could potentially cut down an army of 1,000 regular men all by yourself, and would be capable of feats of skill and martial prowess that would leave regular folk in stunned awe of your capabilities, and have them whispering that maybe you aren't immortal at all. If you are a magic caster, you are capable of spells up to the 6th tier, believed to be the highest tier of magic that a mortal could possibly ever achieve. Spells of the 6th tier can perform things that would be miraculous to the common folk, such as resurrecting the dead, teleporting over unbelievable distances without error, summoning forth powerful creatures as servitors, or potentially casting spells that would let you defeat upwards of 100 men with no more than a few words and gestures. If you are a drop, and your luck, wit, cunning, and skill are so profound that you have an answer for virtually every situation, and while your combat prowess won't be as great as a warrior of the same level, and your magic won't be as good as a magic caster of the same level, you'll far outstrip anyone that isn't in the Realm of Heroes in those abilities. 600 CP, level 100.